This is PWF Empire Live.
It's the best thing going today.
The best insight and analysis on the hottest topics in the world of wrestling happens here. From storylines and news to rumors and reviews, we've got the action covered from bell to bell. Presented by PWFEmpire.com with your hosts, Charlie Feast, Evan Medina, and J-Dub.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
The match starts now.
PWF Empire is live. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. Tonight, we have a whole hell of a lot of stuff to discuss. Some big stuff in the works for this show. We have to cover TakeOver. We have to cover the people from TakeOver and the impact that they've had elsewhere. And we also have to cover one big piece of news from our very own show, as this is good old Charlie's last episode as a host of PWF Empire Live.
Yeah, so let's make it a damn good show with, everything's going to go off scot-free and we're going to enjoy the night.
Well, I have to say we have some absolutely amazing material to work with tonight. We have TakeOver, of course, and I'm going to go ahead and start our review of this show off the same way that TakeOver ended. Holy shit. Like, the whole damn building rang in a chorus of holy shit chants, and, I mean, we have to address what happened at the end of the show. I know we have a little protocol that we go through. We follow the card match by match, but we're throwing that whole damn order completely out of the window. We're kicking things off discussing Samoa Joe making his WWE/NXT debut at the end of the night. We didn't even reach a legit resolution to the NXT Championship match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but we did get an appearance from Samoa Joe. Charlie, how excited were you with that moment of Samoa Joe?
Very. Very from the standpoint of, as someone who's been a big fan of Joe, he's been one of my favorite guys in wrestling, the most misused individual in all of wrestling probably over the last 15 years. So, not 15, more like 9, but that's different point. When he comes out and he is Samoa Joe and they're calling him Samoa Joe and everybody, like, when his music hits, it was kind of like they did their music as kind of like a parody of kind of the well-known Samoa Joe kind of music. Like, it was kind of, you could tell kind of what it was. So people immediately, who were already expecting him to be there, just kind of knew who it was, instantly knew who he was, chanted Joe's going to kill you. So it all came together really nicely, and that was a huge risk by them, and it shows really the way they view NXT and their fan base. That, Triple H said, we can send this guy out here with no vignette, no introduction at all, and people are going to know who he is.
And instantly know who he is and instantly be on board. Like, holy shit, this is an awesome moment.
Yeah, and so anybody watching at home who's, not going to know who he is, they're going to be the weird people. Like, the people that aren't immediately excited are the ones on the outskirts, because this crowd is going to get it and they're going to know. And it was a big risk, but when risk pays off, that's the nature of the business. That's what you got to do. You got to roll the dice, and they hit on all cylinders.
Yeah, and they already have a Samoa Joe t-shirt up on WWE Shop.
Sold the fuck out.
And yeah, like you said, he came out there with this real name, and that was just surreal. Like, in one instance, just seeing Samoa Joe and them actually referring to him as Samoa Joe, I was like, wow, that was a double wow there. And it was an awesome moment and a great way to close out the show. One thing that NXT is really good at is providing you an entertaining show, but at the very same time, making you want to see what happens next. And you just wish right in that moment that you had a fast forward button. Like, holy shit, like, I have to wait a week just to see the next episode. Like, why isn't it right now? Like, I want to see what happens. And with Samoa Joe coming on board with NXT, this definitely opens up a whole world of possibilities. I thought that the moment was great, and him interacting with Kevin Owens and the way that he did, that was really interesting also, because we've seen Kevin Owens, this guy, he was in the ring with a 15-time world champion this past Monday, and he commanded the friggin' stage. And then you get someone like Samoa Joe, and Kevin Owens being in Samoa Joe's presence, it made Kevin Owens look as if he was intimidated, a little bit scared, and knowing everything that we know about Kevin Owens and the way that he operates, this is the type of guy who kicked his best friend's ass for the NXT Championship and smiled over his nearly lifeless body. That's how void of any kind of give a fuck Kevin Owens is. But the fact that he was taken aback by somebody like a Samoa Joe, it just does great things for whatever we are going to eventually see from these two guys, and it makes Samoa Joe come off like the supreme badass, official, certified, legitimate.
Yeah, and the thing I love about Kevin Owens is that he's the guy that will bring the fight, but when the fight gets brought to him, like, he doesn't need any part of that. Like, when he doesn't need a fight, when a fight's not going to benefit him, he's not going to take part. He's going to say, I'm the champion, and I'm just here to make my money, and I'm not going to get in a stupid fight with you that I don't need to be in. And that was what we saw here. You know, on Monday, he brings the fight to John Cena. You know, he shows the initiative, and he makes the name for himself. And when a guy comes out and he's kind of in the John Cena role now that John Cena was in on the Monday Night Raw episode, he says, I'm not going to stand here and let you make a name off me. I'm going to walk to the back, and people are going to cheer. And at the end of the day, you've proven nothing on me. And that's the way things are. And, I'll fight you if they make me fight you for the title. But I'm not going to fight you just to fight you. That's not who I am. And it's so funny because he has been built up as the guy that can kick as much ass as anyone short of Brock Lesnar we've ever seen. But at that same time, he's not the reckless ass kicker that Brock Lesnar is. He's the calculated, self-benefiting ass kicker.
And I think that that's great to building a character. Like, not everybody is supposed to be perfect. And when you look at somebody like him, like all of the things that you just talked about, it makes him come off as if he's a big-ass hypocrite. Because you did the exact same thing. Well, you did much worse to John Cena on Monday than Samoa Joe did to you. At least he didn't, kick your ass. He gave you the opportunity to walk away. So you did much worse than he did, but the fact that he walked away from that moment, it shows how much of a hypocrite he is, and that adds layers to his character. And Kevin Owens is seriously one of my favorite people in all of wrestling, and we'll talk a little bit more about what he did on Monday later on in the show. But yeah, any more thoughts on Samoa Joe and his little dust up with Kevin Owens?
Well, I think just going back to the NXT leaving you wanting more, I think that's the biggest difference between NXT and the main roster. That when Raw ends, how many people end Raw, and even if it's the greatest Raw of the year, 10 out of 10 Raw, how many times do you end Raw right now with a 3-hour setup and go, man, I really want to watch more? You're like, oh, boy, that was good, but like I'm ready for that to end. Like that was time for that to end. And then it's very different feels, very different philosophies. And this was a so-so NXT show, but they built it in kind of a way that they provided you one outstanding, match built with this end of the show story that makes you tune in. So it's a must-see match that you follow up with a must-see story going forward. It's a brilliant way to book a show.
Let's go ahead and break down said show. NXT TakeOver Unstoppable. The match that preceded the moment of Samoa Joe debuting in NXT was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the NXT Championship. The match didn't reach a resolution. I guess it was a no contest, but we did get some action from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and I thought that the action that we actually did get, it came off well to me. Like, I went back and I watched the match a second time because it's like the first time around, I was just...
Here we go.
No,
second time. Here we go.
What's wrong with that? I can't watch something over again for clarification.
Here comes the playwright.
No. It's none of that. No, seriously. Like, I watched the match a second time, and I love the frenetic...
I watched two matches a second time, but
I love the frenetic pace of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's as if the match didn't slow down at any point whatsoever. They had a great couple of tense moments there. I remember the one moment where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they were kind of like in the audience, and Kevin Owens had Sami up in position for the power bomb, but Sami was like grabbing onto a railing or something like that to prevent it. And then, the match carries on, but I thought that the way that the match was booked, it was greatly different from their previous encounter because this time around, Sami Zayn was getting the bulk of the offense. And I think that a story could be derived from here. And it's no Greek tragedy or anything like that. But I think the story could be derived that Kevin Owens was caught up in the lights. Basically, he was blinded by the spotlight. He got lost in his own ambition, because he came out there with the and amazing move. He comes out here with the Champ is Here shirt, John Cena's t-shirt with the United States Championship. And like I said, the story could be told that maybe he was focusing a little bit
after
too
cutting
much.
a fantastic promo.
Yes.
Earlier, there was like 9 great Kevin Owens moments, from the Hideo Itami attack where he walked by and, oh, that's a shame, as Itami's laying out. That was fantastic. To the promo, to coming out in the t-shirt, to this match. I loved how this match, they gave him 9 minutes and they said, here's your 9 minutes match, and here's the story that we want to tell from it. And they said, okay, let's not go out there and try to make this a 5-star match in 9 minutes. We're going to go out there, we're going to tell a story in the match. They put Sami Zayn over huge in the match. There was some good brawling, good action. And then Owens is able to come back with the move that injures Sami Zayn, and is probably going to write him off TV for a length of time. And it was a really well done, kind of veteran savvy kind of match, which is interesting when you're talking about a developmental show, because these are 2 guys who were given 9 minutes. They had a story to tell, and they said, we're not going out there to cram, for all you can say about these indie guys, I want to, I love to take shots at these, people that love to bash the indie guys. These were 2 guys coming from a place that gets too much shit for being a spot fest nothing. They were given 9 minutes, and they told a great story, didn't try to cram too much into 9 minutes, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it definitely did. Do you have any reservations, though, about the match ending in a no contest?
The only thing is that I wasn't a huge fan of how no bell, no real resolution was announced. Like, we don't even really know what happened. It was like nothing was announced, and there was just a bunch of referees trying to pull Owens off Zayn. And from my point of view, I'm Kevin Owens. I've heard no bell. I've heard no announcement. I'm not stopping either. I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't blame the guy. Like, if you want me to stop, ring a goddamn bell and tell me I'm the winner. Like, that's what happened at the last show. They rang the bell and told him he was the winner, and he stopped. And that was it, So there was that aspect to it I didn't really like. But it also worked, and I guess they could give him a reason to keep beating on him, but it kind of made him kind of, you sympathize with him. You didn't blame him. So I don't know if it totally did what they wanted it to do, but it was a little bit of a cluster, but not anything major.
Righty, let's go ahead and move back to the top of the card here. This was Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze. This was originally scheduled to be a triple threat match, but Hideo Itami, he did suffer from an injury, a torn rotator cuff, I believe it was, so he was out of the match. It came down to a singles contest between Balor and Tyler Breeze with the NXT Championship, #1 contendership on the line, and Finn Balor walks away with the victory here in what I consider to be a pretty solid match. It wasn't too thrilling, but both guys went out there and they performed at a level that we're accustomed to, and I think that at the end of the day, they provided a very enjoyable contest.
Yeah, to me it was the perfect opener, and this had a very interesting kind of old school card structure that you don't see much today. Today, kind of, we've come to just demand everything out of everybody, just like every match, just go out there and steal the show. This was basic with one big spot. It was 2 guys. They were in a great spot because these 2 guys are so great for an opener, because this was not a blow-away match, but the fans were totally willing to pretend like it was. You know what I mean? Like, they were just so happy to see these guys, and the match was good. I'd say it was, at kind of a 3 out of 5 kind of level, but the fans love these guys so much that they were willing to just call it awesome because it was these 2 guys, and they did enough to kind of earn that kind of fan respect. So overall, just the perfect opener, perfect way to start out the show. This is what you kind of want from an opener.
Yeah, and there was a pretty nice sequence in the match where Tyler Breeze, he went for the beauty shot, but Finn Balor, he countered it, and then he went for the double foot stomp, but Tyler Breeze, he countered that one, and then he got a near fall. There was a big sequence there where he actually did at one point hit the beauty shot on Finn Balor. A lot of great action in that one sequence in the match, and also we got Finn Balor. He gave us a little I guess a highlight of the show when he jumped off the lighting display onto Tyler Breeze. But another highlight of the show, every single time we see one of these NXT specials, one thing that I'm looking forward to the most is Finn Balor and his friggin' entrances. I love those things. Like, if the network consisted of nothing but Finn Balor entrances, I would still pay the damn money for the network. Like, you can get rid of every single archive on there. You can get rid of all of the live pay-per-views. Get rid of all of that shit. Just put Finn Balor entrances up there, and I'd still pay for it. That's how awesome they are.
Help with some archived entrances up there. Get us a couple New Japan. The time he came out as Bane and whipped a bunch of geeks who were dressed as cops over in Europe, that was fantastic. Get some of that stuff on there, get some good stuff on there.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's not just for theatrics and, showmanship and stuff, because that's, of course, great, and it adds to a character. But another way that it adds to a character is the fact that it actually plays into his matches. He does things like that, and they say that it's because he's attempting to intimidate his opponents, kind of get into their heads, played a little psychological game, and with stuff like that, it greatly adds to a character, and it makes you invested in that character, and I think that works very well in the favor of Finn Balor.
Yeah, and it helps that he's fucking great.
Yeah, that helps too. That's
like literally right now, him and AJ Styles are pretty cemented as pretty much the two most flawless in-ring workers you'll see. Just everything those two guys do are just clockwork.
Maybe this next superstar here could be added to that list. Dana Brooke. She competed in a match at TakeOver with Dana Brooke and Emma versus Bayley and Charlotte. Bayley and Charlotte walk away with the victory here.
Oh boy. Yeah, this was a 6-minute WWE main roster level Diva tag match. Not a lot to it. It was 6 minutes of pretty much nothing, and Dana Brooke's pretty green, which is not her fault. I'm not gonna. It's NXT is a situation where you can't really say Dana Brooke sucks. She's actually, as far as like in the ring, she's slowly getting better. I think at some point she will be.
Is she?
I think so.
Was it evident in this match?
Not totally, but she wasn't in there a whole lot. But
see, the thing is, for what I saw of her in the match, though, no, not at all. Like, I don't like anything that she does. There's literally nothing redeeming about her. From the way that she executes moves on offense and the way that she sells them on defense, like nothing. And like you said, it ain't her fault, but still, like, she's out there, and I look at her and I'm like, no. She needs to go to developmental.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem that I think Triple H is going to face. And he did mention this in his NXT conference call, that the goal, and this might take longer than, the original tours, but the goal is to get a situation where NXT tours, and then they have smaller touring groups in just Florida that consist of more of the developmental kind of talent. And I think that's, something that needs to happen, because you're building this up not as developmental as a brand. And if Dana Brooke was on a developmental show, I don't think anybody would have many issues with her. But the fact that she's, it's kind of hard for her to get better and for the fans not to really give her crap when you're putting your match after Finn fucking Balor. Like, that's an issue. That you're going to have her on shows with Finn Balor and Sami Zayn and, and one time Adrian Neville, and it's like, okay, like, I get it. This is developmental. She's developmental.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like when you look at a match like Finn Balor and Tyler Breeze, it's like, oh, guys, look at this separate brand. NXT is its own promotion. And then you get to Dana Brooke. Oh, remember, guys, it's developmental. Remember.
Yeah, and it's issues they're going to have, and issues that I think that Triple H gets, and he's working on according to that conference call, which, good on him. He's aware, and they definitely needs to be figured out sooner rather than later. As far as this match, there wasn't a whole lot to write home about. I didn't understand why Charlotte pinned Emma. I don't really know if that did anything. I am ready for this Bayley and Emma feud to end. So, like, considering Bayley is probably going to be the next women's champion, I think she desperately needs to move on to something else outside of somebody stealing her headbands and her T-shirt. And
her saying defiantly, "I'm going to get my stuff back."
And I quote, "I'm going to get my stuff back." And then she ran out, got her stuff back, and then threw it to the crowd. And I was like, okay. Okay, so serious damage control needs to be done on Bayley at this moment. But, yeah, not much here. I don't think many expected anything.
Yeah, but according to this match, people are always wondering who's going to be the next to move up to the main roster. I could totally see Dana Brooke fitting in the main roster divas. So
it's so mean.
And it sucks that I'm saying this, but still, like, they need to realize that it's not working for her. And maybe they think that she'll just, like, go in there, roll with the punches, and eventually get better. Like, it's going to take an evolution. But like you said, I don't think that it's fair to her to put her out there in situations like that. When you have great talents like Bayley, Charlotte in the match, and then you have Emma, she's good too. But it's just that her gimmick kind of overshadows her actual talent that she does possess in the ring. So when you throw her in there and, like, the mere presence of her throws off the match completely, that's not setting her up for success. So they just have to put her in situations where they actually set her up for success.
Yeah, and I heard she got some shit in Philly, and it's like, you get kind of worried because you're like, these people are going to come in, they're not ready, they're green, they should be in developmental, and this currently right now is kind of in a transition between developmental and touring brand, and you're going to destroy somebody's confidence right off the bat because they're going to come out not ready, and they're going to come out in developmental mode, and people are going to be like, fuck you, I'm not here to see developmental anymore, and it's kind of like, like what point do we draw the line and start to say, okay, we have to speed up the process of finding real developmental? And so there's that aspect of it. One thing I'd say too, do you notice that Charlotte has completely nothing to do in this fucking NXT?
Yes.
And
this is usually the position that people get into just as they're about to make the transition to the other side.
I have a whacked, made up, in my head conspiracy theory. Okay, and this applies to Charlotte, Sasha Banks. Would you wonder if maybe Triple H is holding out until he can get a grasp on the main roster Divas division before he sends his Golden Girls to the division?
You know what? If that is the case,
good for him.
Yes, good the fuck on you, because here's the thing. We've seen Paige move up to the main roster, and we all talked about how awesome Paige was. I remember I was really excited when she confronted AJ, and I actually said, here's a real women's champion, that we can be proud of. And we see what became of Paige in WWE. She just fell right into formation with the rest of the Divas, and she became just another name, just another face in the Divas division. So the biggest issue here is that I believe reform needs to happen in the Divas division, because if you're cracked at your foundation, it doesn't matter what the hell you build on top of that. You can build a palace, you can build a friggin' McMansion, you can build whatever the hell you want to on top of it, but if the foundation is cracked, then everything that you build on it, that structure, it is at risk of destruction. And you can bring on all of the talent that you want to, but if the division, if the approach to Divas isn't on point, then it doesn't matter. Yeah,
and I definitely look at this and say, like, I have to wonder, is specifically Sasha Banks, because Sasha Banks was born January 26, 1992. That makes her 23 years old. So there is no rush for Triple H to send her up to the main roster, especially her with the potential to, like, redefine the whole division and be the face of the division and be like the next diva star. If I'm Triple H, I'm holding out for as long as I have to, and there's no rush to send her to the main roster at age 23. I'd say, if I got to keep, if it's a wink, nod with her backstage, like, look, I am going to get a hold of that division up there, and then you are going to go, and then we're going to do some real shit. Like, if that's it,
shut shit down.
I hope that's what's going on, because I definitely would rather see somebody get a hold on that Divas division to reform it before you just send, because you can send all the talent in the world up there, but as long as they're still viewing them as the, cool down match, 30-minute nothingness that it kind of is, it's not going to work. So just in my head, just a little conspiracy theory.
Well, I hope that's the case. I hope it's a whole hell of a lot more than a conspiracy, like, or should I say theory. So I guess we'll see, though. Hopefully that change starts to happen, sooner, because we do have divas on the main roster that I believe are talented, that aren't getting the fair shot that I think they deserve, so people can start viewing them like they view some of the divas down in NXT. And speaking of some of those divas down in NXT, we'll fucking get there. Just hold on. Okay, next up we have Baron Corbin versus Rhino. I'd classify this as a pretty pretty good brawl. It was hard-hitting action from both men in this match, with Baron Corbin on the more dominant side, and of course that did lead him to victory over Rhino. So Baron Corbin walked away with a win here.
Yeah, this was exceeded expectations. I think Baron Corbin's another one that's getting better and might not get a fair shake because of the, NXT situation, which we just went over. It was good. Rhino's very good, and not in the state that he's going to go out there and put on 5-star matches, but he is a fantastic kind of veteran presence, and he gets it. And he kind of, he knows every little thing to do in there and really makes it work. And when working with a guy like Corbin, he can kind of pick up the slack and kind of teach and be the guy that, Corbin kind of – there was one spot where they tried to, have Corbin go out of the ring, and he didn't go in first try. And without hesitation, Rhino ran out of clothesline. Yeah, and you kind of think, like, sometimes guys, they don't make that click real fast. They kind of see him not go out and they go, oh shit. And it's like, repeat or, pause, and it's just kind of like, ugh. And, Rhino's, okay, he didn't go, I'm going to get the motherfucker over, and just immediately just seamless. So Rhino to me has a lot of value. And, I wouldn't even mind seeing him make a few appearances in maybe a John Cena Open Challenge, or maybe, an Intercontinental title kind of feud with like a, with a Sheamus, maybe, if he wins that belt, maybe just go up for like a few shows, because I think he's got good value and I think he gets it. And so, the little Rhino praise.
Yeah, and I say, hell, go right ahead, because that's my homie from the 313. We have that in common there, and he put in work.
And that ECW nostalgia for you. You know how much you really like that.
Yeah, totally that. Yeah, yeah, because I'm that guy. Out of us two, I'm that guy. But yeah, like Rhino, he definitely put in work here, and this was a much better matchup for Baron Corbin than someone like a Bull Dempsey, because see, every time I talk about Baron Corbin, I'm always going to reference that match, because that was the point where shit hit the fan for Baron Corbin. Because before that, people actually liked Baron Corbin. They were on board with the Corbin train, and he was, I guess you would somewhat say, a little bit of a fan favorite, or at least the fans would be into his matches and not anti-Baron Corbin. But ever since that match, it's like he was exposed there, and I think that it was a mismatch, because I never bought Bull Dempsey as a badass and him getting that much offense in on Baron Corbin. But then you have a match like this, and Rhino is out there, and I buy Rhino as a badass. And I think that it worked in his favor, and it worked in Baron Corbin's favor. And when you put those two factors together, you had a pretty enjoyable brawl. Some hard-hitting action from both guys. And Baron Corbin, he showed a level of intensity in this match that I don't normally get from Baron Corbin matches, because they only last for, 20 or 30 seconds, and there is not much that you can get there except for, oh, this guy is tough. He's a badass. He's one of the most tough competitors in NXT. Instead of hearing the announcers talk about it, I saw it in effect in this match. He kind of competed with a sense of urgency in here, and the way that he moved around with the quickness. I thought it all added up to an impressive outing for Baron Corbin, and I'm hoping that whatever formula they found for this one, it can continue going forward. And Charlie, you say a lot of it had to do with Rhino. I'm hoping that they find other compatible competitors for Corbin to continue this trend.
Joe.
Okay, next up we have our first championship. What was that?
How about Joe? He'd have to lose. That'd be the one kicker. But,
Well, no, we can't do that then.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue.
I guess keep looking then. Next match we're going to be discussing is the first championship match of the night. This was the NXT Championship match. Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy defending versus Enzo Amore and Colin Cassady, a.k.a. Big Cass. And this match ended with...
They saw our payback review and were like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Watch
Yes, this ended with a fuck you to PWF Empire. Because, so guys, on our payback review, we talked about how WWE books Divas matches sometimes, where they have these instances in matches when you get to the finish where these finishes only happen in a Divas match. You get Nikki Bella snatched down from the top rope, slammed to the mat, and That's it. Not even an official freaking move, not a finisher or anything. Just gets snatched down from her hair.
She's a girl. She fell from a high place. She's got to, it's got to be a pin.
So, yeah, she gets pinned from that, and we complained about that on the show saying, they just did this just because they're divas. So we get to this match, and shit, I wish Enzo would have been hit with that much force. Like, Alexa Bliss comes out, and she just pushes him. And she doesn't even push him to the mat. Like, his leg just slips off.
Yeah, she grabs his leg and separates the legs, and he just bounces off does a nuts bounce off the turnbuckle and gets pinned.
Yeah, and falls to the mat and gets pinned. Now, the funny thing about this is Enzo Amore. This guy, I have to say, he is the most weirdly booked person in the WWE universe today. And what's so weird about it is he barely has any wrestling moves. I mean, he pulled off a DDT and, a drop kick. And I think, I don't even think, well, technically he does have a finisher. His finisher's name is Colin Cassady. So, yeah,
Well, yeah, he gets, Colin Cassady throws him into, what's his face? It throws him into their opponent.
Well, I guess that counts, but
the whatever that's called, the catapult, shotgun, something.
Yeah, but still, even then, it's not a move that he's exactly executing himself. I could probably sit here and name all of the moves that Colin Cassady actually does. I mean, Enzo Amore actually does. He DDT, dropkick, crossbody, roll up, hot tag, and
weird dance thing.
Oh, the shmoney dance. Yeah, he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that's his moveset there. And the weird thing about it is he's still entertaining. I still like the guy. I'm still a fan of his. And it's so fucking weird.
They're the greatest opening act you've ever seen in your entire life, and that's not even an insult. They, together, I'm sure, in a perfect world, they have plans of making Colin Cassady a 7-foot, monster. And, hopefully, making him more than just an opening act. But as of right now, as Colin Cassady gets better and, they work with him a little bit more, this is perfect. The pop for these guys is unbelievable every time. It's the highest on the show, some weeks, and it's up there other weeks. And so this is a perfect situation for them. They got a lot of chemistry, all three of them do. And, the finish of this match was total complete BS. But, the fact is Enzo and Cass are so fun that it made this match more than watchable before Tinkerbell ran out and turned heel. So, you want to know me though? Why is Colin Cassady sprinting to the aid of Carmella to get in the face of Alexa Bliss? Dude, you got a match to win. You're gonna get distracted by Alexa Bliss. She I don't know. Those distraction finishes always annoy me because there's no reason to go confront Alexa Bliss. What are you gonna do? Hit her?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And it's you get 7-foot Cass and 4'11" Alexa Bliss, and it's what was your plan?
Yeah, you know what I think the issue was? The WWE creative team was like, "Hey guys, down in NXT, you guys having any trouble with anything? You guys need some help? We could help you out there." And yeah, that's how we got.
They did that last week on NXT too. Did you see that blind tag finish between Itami and Bálor?
Yeah.
And I immediately, I think everyone was like, "Get your WWE storyline bullshit off my NXT, please."
But you actually talked about this before, how Enzo is kind of he's probably gonna transition into being Big Cass's manager. The vibe that I get from Enzo is of a manager who's been forced to wrestle, and it's so weird because he actually is a wrestler, and the
stuff that he does isn't bad either. That's the weird thing about it. The stuff he does is pretty good.
Yeah, it isn't. So they intentionally book him that way, and I would like to know why. I'm very intrigued, and I wonder if you're watching this, do you even notice that? Is it a situation where you're oh shit, I didn't even notice he doesn't even have that many moves? Or is it a situation and you just don't care? Should you just find them entertaining? And I think that with the general consensus that I've gotten from what people think about Enzo, it's like the latter. Like, they just don't care. Like, they just think the guy is entertaining. And,
No, I don't care.
yeah, I don't.
Me.
I care not because it's bad. I care because it's intriguing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's so weird. It's like the whole Naomi shoes thing. Like, I need answers to these questions.
We need like a PWF Empire Mythbusters or something.
Alrighty, guys, and the wait is over. And we structured this intentionally because this was the main event match for NXT TakeOver Unstoppable. I don't give a damn what the lineup of the card said. This NXT Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. They tore the damn house down. I don't know any other way to describe it but saying that. And for everyone saying, because I've seen some tweets out there saying they stole the show, they did not steal the show because the show was already theirs.
Shit, Triple H told everybody this is going to be the match to watch. So
yeah, so shit, he's the proprietor down there in NXT, and it came out of his own friggin' mouth. So yeah, they can't steal something that already belonged to them. I was going into this show with, as much as I love Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the match that I was most looking forward to, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. They went in there and they blew the roof off the place, and then they tore the house down. So they blew the roof off and tore the rest down. Like, they went out there and, man. And of course, Sasha Banks, she was the winner here, retaining her championship and retaining her status as a legit boss.
yeah, this match was fantastic. And this was the trifecta of a match. It had great build-up, an amazing match, and a great post-match. Like, you can't ask for anything more than that, you know? And the match itself was great. Crowd was very into it. I think that the loss really benefited Becky more than a win would have, because I think fans were still in kind of a transitional period with her, and this kind of garnered their respect in a big way. And her, you know, facials and her acting in the post-match was fantastic. I think it might have been a little legit, you know, her happy about, you know, her first singles match, but she translated maybe legit emotion into kind of storyline emotion of not winning the title, which I thought was, you know, really good. It was a great story throughout. I love the moment where Sasha goes for a suplex and Becky rolls her up and rolls it over into the armbar. That was great. Yes. And then Sasha gets the ropes, and I love the fans because they were like upset she didn't tap, so they booed. But then right off the boos, they went into "This is awesome" chants. It was
because it's like, oh shit,
this is awesome.
Like, she didn't tap out. That means that the match is going to continue. We get to see some more action.
Yeah, so that was fantastic. You know, the thing I love about the women's title matches in NXT is they are very hard hitting. You know, you had the spot on the apron with her, you know, pulling her by her arm right face first.
Oh my God, I remember that. I was like, wow. That
was great. They told a good story of Becky getting her arm injured early, and she keeps trying to make comebacks, finally lifts her up for the electric chair, which, by the way, you know, you get this whole Dana Brooke gimmick going with the whole body, you know, fitness competitor thing, and then Becky lifts Sasha like that, and I wonder, like, why am I supposed to be impressed with Dana Brooke again? Because that was more impressive than anything Dana Brooks has done in the power aspect of it. You know, it's kind of, you talk about that gimmick and you're like, she's not really a standout in that aspect here. And but, you know, building the finish, I thought the finish was really good. The tap out I thought made sense because it allowed Becky to immediately go into the post-match cell, which was great, and the standing ovation was great, and just nothing bad to say about this match.
Yeah, and I pretty much echo all of those sentiments. Nothing bad. Every single thing possibly that I could say in favor of these two ladies going in there and putting on the best match of the friggin' night. I put a lot of expectations on these two because of the standard that I have been accustomed to with NXT women's matches. And before the show, I was kind of wondering, like, damn, am I putting too much faith in them? Or not necessarily too much faith, but saying, like, am I putting the bar too high? Because I didn't want to go in there and them to put on a good match and me still be disappointed because of my lofty expectations. But no matter how lofty my expectations were, they still exceeded them, and that just says so many great things about those two. And I want to focus on Becky Lynch for a minute, because For Becky Lynch to be...
Yeah, you don't got to tell me that. We can do that all the time.
Yeah, I have to give her shine, too, because I'm wearing the Sasha Banks shirt. The only reason why I don't have a Becky Lynch one is because, hell, they just made one. I think they just, put the shirt up on WWE Shop yesterday.
It's June 15th. So.
Yeah, so... I don't have her shirt, but I have to give her
the shirt. It should say Becky Lynch on the back, not Made in Ireland or whatever it says. But whatever, it works.
Yeah, I have to give her props because she's another weirdly booked person, but I wouldn't say weird, intriguing. That the booking of her is intriguing because I look at her. And like I said, I hold the NXT women's matches to a high standard. And I see Becky Lynch and I say she's a credible contender for the NXT Women's Championship. So she's done enough to be looked at as credible. But at the very same time, I look at her and she competes in this match with Sasha Banks, and I'm still surprised by a lot of what she pulls off. So it's like a weird dichotomy there where it's like I know enough about you to say you're credible, but I don't know enough about you so that when I see you in the ring, I'm still surprised by how good you are. Because the way that she moves with her technician, she's pretty much a technician, I'd say. The way that she moves from move to move with all of her transitions and the fluidity that she performs with, she is deceptively good.
Yeah. I do have one complaint. Good old Becky. I like the hair color you had before this show. I like this one too, but the when she had the kind of Sasha Banks hair color there, with just like the red. I like that a little better, but I'll live with it.
Yeah. So I know there was a statement that you made before that I want to go ahead and discuss now. We talked about Becky. Let's go ahead and focus on Sasha.
The big question here. The big question nobody's thinking of because we're not trained to think this way. But it occurred to me. Sasha Banks, yes or no, Wrestler of the Year right now. And this is, we can go at least WWE, because at bare minimum WWE. But I think she's in contention in full wrestling. And WWE, I think I have her at a runaway at the moment.
And could you state that I want you to repeat that statement to make sure that I didn't mishear you, or maybe you didn't forget a word before wrestler. Because there is when we're talking about someone like Sasha Banks and people of her ilk. I mean, you can. There's usually a word before wrestler. Are you sure that you didn't miss anything?
No, I'm pretty good.
So Sasha Banks, Wrestler of the Year, just plain on.
Yeah. And right now in WWE, it's not even close. So in WWE NXT, if you're just doing it off that, not even fucking close. No shot.
And I'm going to be completely honest. Before you mention that, I didn't think about it at all. Because as you said, I can sit here as a big proponent of women in wrestling. I almost every single episode, or any time that we talk about the divas in WWE, I'm always talking about how I like to see them featured in a more prominent role, carve out a nice position on the card for them, and I'm like a big champion of women's wrestling. But I never considered that because I always looked at it as women's wrestling, not, a wrestler who happens to be a woman. So even I, being a big person like that, I've been trained not to even bring that into consideration. You wall off that section and you can have your own little awards over here. Don't think about what's going on over there. But now that you bring it up, and the match that she put on at Unstoppable, the match that she's put on with Charlotte, the match that she put on with the Fatal 4-Way, every single thing that I've seen from Sasha Banks on these specials has been special. And the way that her character has developed, there was someone who tweeted me, and I guess he's new to the fan club here. He said, "Oh God, I finally understand why Jay loves Sasha Banks so much. That girl just oozes charisma. Just every single thing about her. Her character, the charisma, the talent that she possesses in the ring, it all works in tandem. And honestly, if I'm sitting here right now, I say, hell yeah. Why not? Why not Sasha Banks as, at least a contender for Wrestler of the Year?"
Yeah, I can't find one, and to me, it's like I look at it and I say, she's got the great matches, she's got the unbelievable character, and she is so fucking over at this moment. It's like not even funny. So, I hear she went to a pretty good wrestling school too, not for nothing. She went to an interesting choice there, but I look at her, everything she's doing, it's just fantastic, and so there's no one this year that's been as consistent as Sasha Banks, and if she can continue that throughout the rest of the year, she's going to run away with the WWE award.
And I think that the precedent that NXT has set, like we could sit here and we could talk about how great Sasha Banks is, but the precedent that NXT has set in the way that they approach the women down there, it's very important to making a conversation like this even possible. Because when I look at NXT, I don't look at NXT and I'm like, okay, this is a card and these are the divas. They're separated. Like I feel as if the roster is integrated down in NXT, and all that they give the women, they give them exactly what they give the men. They give them time, they give them a platform, and they give them an opportunity, and they say, you know what, go out there and show them the talent that you possess. We're not going to put handcuffs on you. We're not going to handicap you. We're not going to say you can't outshine these men, because if you have the talent to go out there and bring the damn house down, and you have the talent to bring fans in, and you have the talent to be remembered and add up to the entertainment of the show, then why isn't that possible? Like, why can't you do that? Why should we inhibit your ability to do that? And NXT, they don't do that. They give them that platform, they give them that opportunity, and they take full advantage of it. And I think that's great for every single person involved in the process. The fact that they have confidence in them in that way for them to go out there and do things like that.
And think about it this way, too. The main event world title match was given 9 minutes and was built around a debut. It was a story. It was not a match. They built this card for this women's title match to be the best match on the show. That was bar none their thinking. They were like, we're going to provide, Sami Zayn's kind of injured. He's banged up a little bit, so we're going to have a 9-minute main event that is not going to have a finish, and it's going to have a big debut, and that's going to be what it's remembered for. And when it's all said and done, the women's match is going to be the one that people remember as the blow-away match. That's why you want to watch this show.
And can I say that I believe that's the first time that they've done this with this NXT special? Like, they structured the card so that the women's match was going to be the best. The last 2 NXT specials that I've seen, they didn't do that. They let everybody go out there and balls to the wall, whatever you got, put it all on the line. And still, women's matches, best matches on those 2 shows. So that just goes to show the talent that they're, the talent level that they're operating at. And where I'm sitting right now, the suggestion that Sasha Banks could be nominated for Wrestler of the Year, I'm down. You can, hold on. You can Banks on it. Okay.
That was awful.
Yeah, that was like clunky as hell, but you guys get the point. Okay, so what were your overall thoughts on TakeOver?
Well, I thought they built the show in an interesting way. It had an interesting card structure. It had a story main event, a perfect, opener, which is to say a perfect opener is not to say 5-star match. But when you look at the fact that the match that they built up to deliver and that they were praying was going to deliver, delivered on every level and beyond, and it's a must. It's a must-watch thing from that standpoint. There was a lot of great segments with Kevin Owens, and the main event was a good story with a great debut. So I'm going to give it a thumbs-up show. It's not a blow-away show, but it did a lot good. And at the end of the day, I come out of this and I say I cannot wait for the next episode of NXT.
And I think that that's pretty much all that you can expect from a show. It to entertain you and also make you anticipate the next show. And those are the feelings that I had coming out of this this most recent NXT special. Of course, the match of the night, Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Some great stuff from Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Of course, that Samoa Joe debut. Then you had a really good match to start off the show. The only one thing that I would pretty much get rid of, like you could scratch that right off the card, was the Divas tag team match. You know, scratch them right off NXT, put it on an episode of Raw, hell, even a pay-per-view, you know, fit right in. But on this show...
And speaking of awards, you know, Becky Lynch, Most Improved. There's another award. Like,
I mean, there are a lot to go around. Should NXT just might, you know, run the table,
run the train.
Yeah, and I guess the train
Triple
is
H
leaving.
is going to win Indie Booker of the Year. So
that train is leaving the station, and I guess they made a stop on Monday Night Raw this past episode, and it was Kevin Owens taking over Raw. And we're going to talk about our next topic now. We move on to buy or sell, and we're going to start off with Kevin Owens. It looked as if he was going to answer John Cena's open challenge, but he had a little
that's not Kevin Owens is way too cool for school to answer a freaking John Cena open challenge.
He's like, fuck you and that title. Like, I'm here to talk about something else. You said, you know, well, no, it was like, I guess it was Sami Zayn who actually said that he got injured in the John Cena match. And Kevin Owens was like, no, he didn't. I did that. And Kevin Owens comes out there and he has a confrontation with John Cena. Kevin Owens wants to take credit.
Altercation.
Oh, yes, an altercation with John Cena, and Kevin Owens walks away as, I mean, he's the one who walks away. That's
Kevin Owens just walks away. That's good.
He power bombs John Cena, steps on the United States Championship, and walks off like a fucking boss, like the badass that he is. And it was a very surreal moment to witness. Do you buy or sell this main roster debut for Kevin Owens?
I'd buy the hell out of it. And, you know, I'll hook WWE up, my routing number, my account number, you know, take as much money as you need. And
just hand him a blank check, like, you know.
Here's my signature. Fill it out. You know, there you go. That's all you need right there. This was fantastic. I thought, you know, Kevin Owens came out, and it was like, you look at the way he performed in this segment, and you go, boy, that guy's the champion of developmental. You know, it's like, boy. Okay. Like, he ran this segment. I thought John Cena was great. I said this on Twitter. Say what you want about John Cena. I could not find another face of the company that would have agreed to be laid out by Kevin Owens.
And I think that that's very important to bring up also, because I think many people, they look at John Cena and, you know, his ability to win matches and things like that, and they make it seem as if that's the only thing that matters in wrestling. And at the end of the day, it's not. The fact that you let someone come in what is, you know, from what is generally considered to be a developmental territory from WWE, and at the very least, it is the second tier brand, and you let that guy come into your ring and show you up. I think that John Cena, the fact that he agreed to let that shit go down, I think that that's very commendable.
Yeah, I literally went over the face of the company. I went through everyone from Hogan to the pre-Cena, you know, regime, and I was sitting there and I was like, you know, maybe, probably not, and it was like, you know, it was very interesting that that's what happened, and I think it also is maybe telling of one or two things. Either Kevin Owens' stock is rising with more than just the NXT brass. You know, maybe the WWE is pretty happy with him as well. I hear his T-shirt's doing well, so that's always a good thing.
And you're welcome for that, because I have
me too. Yeah, I have one. No, we sound like the CM Punk haters. Motherfucker, I bought your house. No, we don't want to do that. But so, you know, it's a very interesting situation. I'm definitely excited for the match.
Yeah, I buy the hell out of this segment as well. This was about as close to perfect as you could possibly get in wrestling. I literally would not have changed anything about it. Kevin Owens, he's a disrespectful son of a bitch. Him to step on the United States Championship in that way. And then when John Cena says, you know what, kid, I'm going to give you a bit of veteran advice. He said, hold on, wait a minute. I've been doing this longer than you have. I was like, well, damn. Like, for you to come into his yard and command the stage in that way, it takes some stones to do that. And that is what Kevin Owens possesses. And we also have a match coming up with those two at Elimination Chamber. And I'm very excited to see how all of that goes.
Must stress the point. Kevin Owens is great on the mic.
Yes, he is. I don't see how anybody could possibly say that, but
say the other.
I mean, say he's not. But.
Yeah, how can you say he's not? What kind of not watching the show level people are we dealing with here that would ever say that?
It's kind of funny you say that because they don't watch this show either. Therefore, they're not going to see it.
So I can talk all the shit I want. Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Okay, next up we have Elimination Chamber. I mentioned that Kevin Owens and John Cena will have a match at that show. Well, as indicated by the name of the show, WWE has brought the Elimination Chamber concept back, and this is going to be a network exclusive. It's not going to be a pay-per-view. It's going to be exclusively on the WWE Network, and we're going to get Kevin Owens versus John Cena. We're also going to get a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, which we'll be talking about shortly. And then we're also getting two Elimination Chambers. One with the Intercontinental Championship on the line, and another with the Tag Team titles on the line, with 6 teams competing in that one match. Charlie, do you buy or sell? And this is a lot to digest here, because we have Elimination Chamber 2 weeks after Payback, 2 weeks before Money in the Bank, so it's wedged into a very busy time in WWE, and of course, like I said, network exclusive and a lot of stuff going on. So do you buy or sell this situation surrounding the return of Elimination Chamber?
I have to buy it because I don't think Kevin Owens and John Cena is going to happen on a real pay-per-view. So you have to buy it. But as far as the chamber matches, I don't know. I think the build-up's been a little rushed, and I think the chamber matches themselves, the tag team one is an interesting.
You don't think that that's okay to do, though, seeing as it is a chamber, though? Because you can just like throw people in there and.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, but I think that, on some level, you're building a show around these chamber matches, and you're putting your mid-card guys in there, which is a good idea in theory, but I think that, you don't necessarily do a great job of making those people look important week to week,
yeah.
So there's that whole issue. And, you have the tag team division, which, you do next to nothing to make that look important. So I think they should have gone with just 3 teams. I think that would have been more fun. I think they're going to do the one pin, eliminate your whole team, which I think is a missed opportunity and stories you can tell in there. But we'll see. At the end of the day, there's some crazy motherfuckers in that match who can do some crazy motherfucking shit. So that could end up good. The IC title one is the land of the losers, because nobody in that fucking thing ever wins a goddamn match besides Sheamus. So there's that issue. But so... and I hope they give these chambers time. Like, I hope that doesn't turn into, elimination, right off the bat, and just because it's mid-card guys and not the world title, just get in there, pin some people, and get the fuck out. I hope we don't see that.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern with these Elimination Chamber matches. Don't book them as if they are mid-card chambers, because if you do this just to provide the hook, hey, Elimination Chamber is coming back, so people can get excited for it, you're basically luring them in, and then when they get in the building and you lock the damn doors, it's some bullshit and fuckery. Don't do that. If you're putting them in this match, book it to the level of a main event Elimination Chamber. And I think that if they do it in that way, these two divisions can benefit greatly spinning out of this show. And for reasons like that, I have to have hope to even buy into it. But yeah, I'm going to buy into it, because I think that it's nice that they're giving them this platform where the show is titled Elimination Chamber, and you have tag team titles on the line and the Intercontinental Championship on the line in separate Elimination Chambers. So I'm going to buy the concept, and with it being on the network, I think that it makes it a little easier to digest, because and shit, it would have made it a lot easier to digest when I didn't think the World Championship was going to be on the line. But even still, I'm going to buy the whole concept of them bringing Elimination Chamber back.
One thing to bring up, did you hear the reaction for the IC title being revealed underneath that? Or you probably didn't hear it because it was dead fucking silent.
Yeah.
They pulled it. There wasn't usually there's a little bit of Or they'd see it and be like, yeah, Daniel Bryan's title, boo, I wish he had him back. It was like... like, not even one guy. Like, one guy could have just went, and it would have been a bigger reaction.
I didn't mention this before because, it would have been insensitive, but because I wanted to give Daniel Bryan his time, but I think I'm ready to go, fight for the Intercontinental Championship. Because I was thinking, like, that whole time where Danny Bryan was in the ring and he was about to give up the title, I was like, dude, like, I'm a fan of yours, but hurry up. Like, maybe this is my chance. Like, come on, relinquish the title. And yeah, I was expecting for them to name me for the Elimination Chamber, but to no avail.
Technically, you got a better win-loss record. I'd take a 0-0 over friggin' some of these other guys.
Yeah, because at least you don't know what to expect from me. So, hey, R-Truth got into the match. This guy, they bring him back on TV just to win, just so you aren't completely, like, flabbergasted. Not you went from flabbergasted to just what the fuck. So,
they bring him on TV like twice a year to put him in a multi-man match so he can lose. Like, they bring him on TV, give him one win, put him in the match, and he gets the first eliminated or something.
God. Okay, so we're going to move on now and discuss the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Dean Ambrose is the number one contender, not by way of winning a match, but by way of terroristic threats. I think that's what we pretty much can call
hostage
him, right?
situation.
Yes, he pretty much said, I'll kill this motherfucker if you don't give me what I want. Now, if that's not a terrorist, I don't know what is.
And we find out that the McMahons will negotiate with terrorists.
So, I mean, yeah, he got what he wanted. So, at Elimination Chamber, we will get Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Do you buy or sell this match?
Sorry, Jay. Where's my get out of jail free card?
There are no more. There are no more. You've used them all up. You and
I didn't use any of them.
No. What the hell? You have your own little separate community chest or something? There's one in the game, and you've used
There's a
them
lot
all.
of different types of Monopoly, Jay. Okay,
And what did you do? Like, take the fucking cards from each one and shuffle them together?
Yeah, we were playing, major Monopoly. We were playing, big Monopoly. It was.
I'm not familiar with this. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, we were making up our own rules because this is a nothing free for some network exclusive, and I'm always up for a Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match. So get out of jail free.
See,
you could have done the Kane match here. That's what I thought they were going to do, but they decided not to do that. So Kane will probably lose to Roman Reigns. So there's that.
And let me just go ahead and state right now, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. I know the match is going to be awesome. Just look at all of the history between those guys and in their feuding and in the matches that they've had. You're guaranteed a good match here. But the thing is, Dean Ambrose is nowhere near the level of credibility for a world championship
but we
contender.
Like Dean Ambrose.
I understand that, but here's the fucking problem. Like, is that all that's required for you to be a world championship contender? Like, all you have to do is like someone. Like, this is basically people giving WWE creative a pass on actually being creative, a pass on doing their jobs. You have someone like a Dean Ambrose can be booked in a feud where he loses match after match after match after match after friggin' match. He gets his ass kicked time and time again by Bray Wyatt, and then we were just happy, elated at the fact that he won a pay-per-view match. We were happy about that not too long ago when he beat Luke Harper, but now we're at the point where that was how many weeks ago? And we're here now, and he's the number one contender for the championship. Like, this is not me saying anything denigrating about Dean Ambrose. This is me saying I think that he should eventually be at that level, but I just don't like the fact that people are giving a pass for WWE creative for not doing their damn jobs. Like, we haven't even been a part of any kind of journey for Dean Ambrose. We haven't seen this guy rise up the ranks. It's like he was catapulted to the top got the match with the Fatal 4-Way, and it's like, okay, we see that one, and, it's a Fatal 4-Way. We looked at him like he was going into the match as a spoiler, even though he wasn't the one to get pinned. Still, got it. But for him to be the one, I just don't get it.
I will say having him lose to Bray Wyatt on that show was fucking stupid. And Stephanie's out there like, you lost just last night. I'm like, Steph, he lost 2 hours ago.
But he got his win back on SmackDown, so it doesn't matter. That's good.
So at least we got that. But the problem is nobody watches SmackDown. But Dean Ambrose's name has been tied to the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'll say they got the Money in the Bank booking spot on with Dean Ambrose. So get that to look forward. They are prepared. They got that. They get that Money in the Bank booking down.
Speaking of that, on SmackDown, Roman Reigns. He declared that he wanted to be in Money in the Bank.
And Kane told him no because he was a loser.
I just have to, look at Roman Reigns and say, motherfucker, did you watch Raw? I know the reverse. Some people don't watch SmackDown, but I'm like, did you watch Raw? Because Dean Ambrose, Dean
Ambrose was in the promo when Kane told him no, I think. Dean Ambrose was in the ring, too.
It's so funny because Dean Ambrose, he's Roman Reigns, he goes out there and he's like, I want a shot at the World Championship. Dean Ambrose is like, fuck this, give me a match with the title on the line. And it worked for him. Why couldn't you just replicate what he did?
Well, the problem
lack ambition. That's the problem.
If he forces himself into this match, then they give the Shield triple threat away. And Roman Reigns is smarter. Roman Reigns is sitting there like, we have to do this at WrestleMania next year.
Okay, so this was strategy on Roman Reigns' part. He was looking out for me because I remember, when we met him in L.A., he was like, that was a nice little. I gave you a nice little Shield pose there. We were having a little conversation about the Shield. So he knows how much I like the Shield. He knows how much I want to be there when that match happens. So I understand. Got you, Roman.
We're on the same page.
Yeah,
we got it. See, I would have been in that conversation too, but the problem was, if we were going to be the Shield, like all three of us, I wanted to be Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns wouldn't let me do that. So I had to back out. I was like, I can't do this.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to take a little break and talk about some news on the PWF Empire front. First up, PWF Empire Anarchy. If you have not seen the show, then you really need to watch the show. As I said at the beginning of this episode, this is going to be Charlie's last episode of PWF Empire Live, and PWF Empire Anarchy, End of an Era. It celebrated Charlie's departure and also David's departure from PWTR by going over a lot of the history of a lot of the stuff that happened behind the scenes for PWF Empire and some of our favorite moments, and basically just us talking as a group of friends and having a good old time. And I actually do have a clip to play for you guys for anyone who actually hasn't seen the show. I believe this clip is with us talking about the split between PWF Empire Live and PWTR. So you can go ahead and watch this. If I can find the clip. Okay. Here you go. I want to ask an honest question. At any point during this process on the side of PWTR, was there any tension or animosity from the decision?
Absolutely.
Really?
I thought
Dave is leaving. Dave is going to go all in here. This is going to be good.
Man, I
there was
thought
a
this
lot.
was it. I thought, we actually had a meeting by ourselves, and we were panicking. We were like, what are we going to do? He's about to get rid of us. And, I'm the paranoid one. I'm like,
wait a minute. When did you guys have this meeting? Was it before you actually started the show, or, when your version
Midway
of
through.
No, before we started the show, we was cool. And, after that first episode, we were cool. As time went on and we saw how the dynamic was working, it became a little bit of a problem.
And
what dynamic, though?
We thought that was the end of the road, man.
Welcome to my world.
I had
Who is
my
this
suitcase
we?
ready.
Quit grouping me in with that.
Oh, shut up,
Duke, you were just as pissed off. Don't even
Duke
play.
is literally
Duke was
laid
like the
back
main
right
one
now.
pissed off.
Yeah, Duke was the most pissed off out of us all.
Honestly, yeah.
That's not
No,
even.
it wasn't.
Let's
Oh, wait,
call a
so-
spade a spade.
So he's bullshitting right now?
Yeah, he is.
I
Yeah, he
was
is.
not overly pissed off.
I'm selling you out, motherfucker.
I was not overly pissed off.
He
I was
low.
like,
You went from I was.
Shit.
Did you guys notice the evolution? I was cool. Then I wasn't overly pissed off. Let me ask a question: are you guys good now? Because you have the platform of accountability. Like people are watching right now. So, I mean, if you guys say something, I guess I.
I think we did a good job of trimming the fat, so we should be good moving forward now.
Wait a minute. Was
I
that
don't know.
shots fired?
Bang bang.
I'm not.
So yeah, guys, that was just a little clip there. We had a fucking awesome time on that show, and if you didn't watch it, you could hear the whole backstory on the split between PWTR and PWF Empire Live. A lot of pipe bombs dropped on that show, a lot of tense moments, and a lot of fun had as well. And what are we going to talk about next? The competition to determine who's going to replace Charlie on PWF Empire Live. If you guys haven't applied and you would like to, go ahead and go to pwfempire.com/empire and go ahead and fill out the little questionnaire there. Give us a little basic information on who you are and why you think you would be a great fit for PWF Empire. And we're going to be contacting some of the people shortly and testing them out, doing a little bit of an evaluation to see who exactly is going to be in that place of Charlie on PWF Empire Live, because this is a very important spot, so we got to make sure we find the right person. And I guess you guys will see the development of that going forward in the next few weeks. And good luck to everyone who has applied. And if you, at any point in time, were ever like, damn, I wish I could be on that show, because you hear something that we say and you're like, man, I wish I could join in on the conversation. Why haven't you applied? Go ahead and do so. Maybe you actually could join in on that conversation. What else do we have to talk about here? Pro Wrestling Talk Radio. They did an episode this past Monday after Raw with a new, he's not a co-host, I guess he's an intern over there at PWTR. His name is Brian. Very interesting guy.
He could be a good candidate for the replacement of me.
I don't think so. Yeah. There's some logistical issues involved.
That time difference, he does live in some foreign land, so, you got after Raw is a pretty convenient time difference because it's so late at night, but, doing it at our time would really fuck him up. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's it too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably it. But yeah, I have to say that Brian guy, even though there are issues with him being on PWF Empire Live, the fact that he was on PWTR, they put out their best episode to date. I have to say, ever since they took over the show in January, that was their best fucking episode. So guys, check that out on pwfempire.com. And what do we have left? Charlie.
What's up?
I guess you're what we have left.
Oh, Jesus.
Threw a little curveball there, didn't I? So, as it was said, this is going to be Charlie's last episode of PWF Empire Live.
Hopefully for real this time. Sorry. Breaking JFA again.
Yeah, so, not going to go too much into the whole mushy and, stuff like that, because like I said, we handle that in our own way. We're not those type of guys. We're like, shit, we want to have fun. We want to celebrate this because this is a pretty big moment. It's a big moment, but we still want to have fun with it and things like that, because that's just in our nature, who we are. But I do have to say that you have been an invaluable part of PWF Empire Live, and I hope that I've been able to communicate that to you effectively. I'm pretty sure you got it yesterday, but I guess I have to do this again now. But I am honestly really happy that you're leaving. I am. I'm almost as happy
Oh, Lord.
I'm almost as happy as you were when Nikki Bella turned heel.
This is
at
this is so
at SummerSlam.
This is so forced and poorly placed. Oh, the zoom.
You guys see that right there? You guys see that guy with the afro and the white shirt on, that Dean Ambrose unstable shirt? That is Charlie. We were actually in the audience at SummerSlam, and yeah, you can see him like very clearly right now.
Well, everyone's got to have their like Lita crying moment. AJ Lee. There's mine.
Who would have known yours would come, from Nikki
Nikki
Bella?
fucking Bella, yeah.
Huh.
Fucking, you got to buy the camera side seats.
Yes. I mean, I didn't expect for you to do that, so.
I was having fun with the show.
Yes, we were having fun.
See, you did something similar, but you're blocked by the ring post, you jackass. You fucked me.
No, I'm not blocked by the ring post. Like, if we're looking at this video, I'm to your right. Like, you can see me jumping up. But see, it made sense that I was jumping up.
Because you're 5'9", so it's not fair.
Actually,
like 5'7".
Yeah, and a half. And a half. Don't forget that.
I'm 6'1", so clearly I get seen over everybody, and you guys...
No, see, the thing that I'm saying, though, is, like, I was jumping up because I'm a Stephanie McMahon guy. And Nikki Bella turning heel, that meant that Stephanie was going to win the match.
I was doing the same thing. I didn't want Brie to win. I hate Brie.
You're not a Stephanie McMahon guy.
So?
Did you bring the damn sign? Who brought the sign?
I didn't bring any sign because I couldn't think of one.
But yeah, you have any thoughts on your departure as we watch this footage?
I hope you get struck for copyright. I really do. WWE is going to strike this down with anger and furious vengeance.
I mean, if you have...
Oh my God! Do not. This is ridiculous. I am staging a sit down, which I'm already sitting down, so that's not really.
Are you putting your foot down?
I am. I'm putting my foot down for real this time.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Would you? See, this is not fair. I feel like Lita in the wholesale at Survivor Series 06 right now.
Okay, yeah, so Charlie, like I said, you've been a very invaluable part of PWF Empire Live, and I'm honestly really happy that you're leaving because I don't look at this anymore as me losing a host, because there was a point in time I was like, oh, shit, what am I gonna do? This is terrible, like, because you guys only see half of it. You see what happens on air, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and Charlie has pretty much been my collaborator with every single thing that you guys see. We talk back and forth about what would be good for the show, what would be bad for the show, basically doing everything that we can to present the best product to you guys. And it's a lot that Charlie doesn't take credit for, that he doesn't like when I give him credit for, but yeah, he's literally invaluable to PWF Empire, and losing that honestly means less than him going on to pursue his dreams. So that's why I'm happy that he's leaving PWF Empire Live, because if you're leaving here to pursue your dreams of becoming a wrestler, and I know that this is something that he has a great passion for, the simple fact that he's sitting on this show right now shows how much of a great passion that he has for the business, and for him to get up and, say, damn it, I'm actually going to try this out. I think that's wonderful. Like, literally the best thing that you could possibly do. Follow a passion in life. So, Charlie, the floor is yours.
Sorry, some cops went by, and I was like, I'm not pulling a David at the last second. I was like, I'm holding out. But, yeah, this has been a heck of a 5 years, half a decade. And for me, that's a quarter of my life. So think about that for a second. This has been, actually, it's almost 6. It's over 6. So over 25% of my life, this right here. So it's been unbelievable. If you want to continue on the ride, my Twitter account will be the same. The handle will change. The tweets will probably be deleted, but that will stay my Twitter. So to keep following that. this has meant more to me than, any of you will ever know. And what I've gained on the show is irreplaceable because it was an experience. It was the ability to be happy during times when I wasn't, and it was friendship, and that's something amazing. So I hope you guys continue the ride, and Jay will be back here with Evan, and I hear some rumors circulating about maybe somebody else. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Every week, PWF Empire goes on, and I'll see you guys later.